The plan is first, try to reason with them.
We're like your economic plan. You said I'm the only one with a plan. The only one.
Oh, in the budget.
Brings a plan, right?
Gotcha. Okay. On the budget, I've laid it out before. The full 11-page version is on my website at whitneyforgov.org. But basically, on the spending side of forensic audit, we will recover $2 billion through that. On the revenue side, which is the main aspect, because we cannot get there with spending cuts alone by any stretch of the imagination, it involves passage of Senate Bill 750, sometimes referred to as the income tax for property tax swap. It's the latest version. We raised $7.25 billion, $7.4 billion from that. We impose a financial transactions tax on speculative trading in the state of Illinois, $4.5 billion from that. You know, we often hear that the one thing that's politically safe to do is to tax gambling. The two biggest casinos in the state of Illinois are the Chicago Mercantile Exchange and the Board of Options Exchange. They don't pay a dime's worth of taxes. We need to impose a financial transactions tax on speculative trading, a minuscule tax. We could raise $4.5 billion from that. Fee and dividend system on greenhouse gas emissions in the state of Illinois. We could raise a gross of $5 billion. $3 billion goes back to consumers to help them pay the short-term higher energy costs and fund changes in our economy. The other $2 billion net we get back to the state of Illinois. Those are the basic parameters of the plan, spending and revenue, but mostly revenue. Basically, my message is, we know we have a broken tax system in Illinois. We tax the wrong people. It is one of the most regressive systems in the United States. When you combine all taxes, we end up taxing the bottom 20% of income earners at more than triple the rate of the top 1%. And then people act baffled why we can't pay our bills, why we can't fund our public schools and social services. We need to turn that around, make the people most able to pay their fair share back to society. That's how we're going to fix the problem. I'm the only candidate that is fighting for that common sense solution in this race.
You are in tomorrow night's debate, correct?
Yes, at WSIU, they have done their civic duty. I'm going to be included in that debate.
Are there any others after that you're involved in?
There are other public fora. There is going to be one at, I think, Northern Illinois University. There's a radio debate on, oh boy, I'm going to get in trouble for this. I can't remember the station. It's V103 in Chicago on Halloween night. All the candidates have been invited to that. I can't speak for the other campaigns. I don't know if they're going to appear at those. Obviously, the ones we're more concerned about right now are the three I mentioned, where we know Brady and Quinn have been invited, but I have not.
Do you think there's a conspiracy against you personally? It sounds like the League of, you're insinuating that the League of Women Voters changes their benchmarks contingent upon your polling results.
I'm not alleging a conspiracy. I do think that there is an institutional bias that may be fueling this. You know, I think there's long been a perception of, well, at a certain point in time, we have to circle the wagons and get behind, you know, what I call the two corporate-sponsored parties. I don't think that there's been a conspiracy in the sense of people sitting in back rooms planning all this. I think it's more of an institutional knee-jerk response that at a certain point is, you know, oh, now we got to get serious and, you know, get behind the big boys, even though neither one of them has a plan, and you hear from the same institutions, we're not really happy with these two choices. And we're certainly hearing that from the people.
These other debates that you're participating in, have all the candidates been invited to those? Do you know? Or is it just...
Oh, you mean like the radio debate? Yes, they are all being invited. One of the debates, and I apologize, I don't have the date right in front of me. I can certainly look it up, is being sponsored by Free and Equal Elections. They always invite all the candidates. And the V103, I'm certain that they have invited all the candidates.
You're really exercised about this, and it shows me that you believe that debates play a critical role in determining who's going to be the next governor and who we ought to vote for.
They sure do. You know, as we know, I come into this race with a monetary disadvantage. That's an understatement. The Green Party, as a matter of principle, does not accept the corporate money. We handicap ourselves because it's the right thing to do if we want to change what's wrong with government. So we can't buy, you know, the huge big buys, millions of dollars worth of ads fortunately, most of it is spent on Brady and Quinn bashing each other, so in a way it probably helps me. But still, we can't afford to get our message out that way, so we have to do it other ways. We do depend, admittedly, on civic organizations and the media performing this civic duty and giving us an opportunity for the voters to hear all points of view in a way that it's going to be disseminated more broadly.
Well, in 2010 in Illinois, do a lot of people pay attention to these radio and TV debates? A lot of people will be watching these?
I think that they will. I think that they will. You know, some things we have no control over, but I think the interest in this race is growing. I think that, again, you know, in a sense, Brady and Quinn are probably my two biggest allies, because the more people hear from them, the more they're saying, gee, this doesn't look too palatable. So I think that there is interest being generated in this race. Granted, there is a problem with, you know, the Chicago media is already looking at the mayoral race and all that, but I think that people are getting excited about this race.
Well, one thing you said, Mr. Whitney, kind of tripped something in my mind. You said that you've got this ad that you want to put on TV.
Mm-hmm.
You said we're aggressively raising money, and the election isn't that far away. I mean, how late is too late, and what are you going to do between now and Election Day to get the momentum you're going to need?
We're getting our troops activated big time. I mean, we're kicking this thing into high gear. I can't promise what we're going to be able to do. I can't control how much money people give me. But, you know, you see these last-minute fundraisers with the Democratic and Republican candidates, too, you know, with Joe Biden coming into town and all that. They're doing their thing. We're doing ours. We're trying to raise the grassroots money. People are getting up in arms. We're using the social networking sites. We've got people already making the phone calls to the League of Women Voters and to WTTW. We're going full bore on this thing. We'll just have to see how it all plays out.
What percentage of your campaign budget are you spending specifically, do you know, or plan to know, on this campaign to get into debates?
Basically, probably about 80% of what we're going to be raising from here on out is going to be going into this short-term media campaign. Until I get invited to the debates, then obviously we shift gears into other promotion. But, you know, basically, I can tell you whatever budget plan we had before is pretty much blown up. We are just spending money as fast as we take it in, like jet fuel, to get our message out, whether it's through yard signs, this debate campaign to try to, you know, get ads on TV, whether it's the other basic expenses of, you know, flyers, buttons, T-shirts, bumper stickers, all that basic fuel. We're basically spending it as fast as it comes in. But right now, we are setting this current surge of money that we are raising now is going to be devoted toward getting these ads on TV.
4 years ago, you got 10.4%?
Yes.
And that was pretty significant. And now, I mean, is it maybe a lack of Whitney momentum toward 2010, or more competition for that none of the above vote? You mentioned Mr. Green and Mr. Cohen. I'm wondering if there's a finite percentage that's going to be the none of the above that now you're fighting for with some of these other candidates.
There's no question that that's part of it. You know, we're competing against not only the two corporate-sponsored candidates, but the you know, the millionaire candidate who's spending plenty of money of his own, although apparently in today's news there's questions about why he's not paying his child support, but I'll let you folks in the media handle that one. But he's spending a lot of his own money to basically inundate the airwaves and, you know, parts of the city of Chicago with his signs, but he's got no message. He's got nothing. You know, I've debated him several times in some of these other public forums, and by all means, look at his website, see what his plan is.